Why is halotestin on paper both so much stronger anabolic and androgenic? When talking about the ratio, why is the ratio so inflated versus the real world results? Let's answer this question. Why? We have extreme liver toxicity. And this is, the plaque buildup in the arteries and the cardiovascular disease and the heart wall thickening. This is more of an overtime effect. The extreme liver toxicity seen with halotestin in a lot of studies, this is immediate, okay? This is an immediate effect. Yeah, what's going on, guys? Seth Spartan here, nutrition, training, and hormone expert and Prometheus Pro bodybuilder with Prometheus HRT, the world's best testosterone and hormone replacement clinic. Use my code Spartan to save on either testosterone or HGH replacement therapy. Guys, today we're going to be talking about halotestin. Everything you need to know about this anabolic androgenic steroid, so let's get into it. First and foremost, guys, I want to go on record and I want to say that I did not want to do this video. Let me say that again. I did not want to do this video, but you guys are asking questions on it, so I guess I'm going to have to cover it. So why did I not want to do this video for starters? Why? Because bottom line, I'm putting this out here, I hate halotestin. My opinion, my expert opinion is that nobody should use it. Why? I'm going to give you a quick answer and then we're going to roll through the video. So, halotestin, why do I hate it? Why do I think nobody should use it? Number one, it is extremely liver toxic. Okay, it's very, very hard on the liver. It's something that just plain and simple, guys, should not be used. And this compound has been glorified, by a lot of bodybuilders and I'm sure athletes in general, just because of a hardening effect and a strength gain effect. Hardening in terms of a look, giving you a harder look, and strength gains in terms of, powerlifting, especially powerlifting and other strength events. Having said that, my opinion, again, legal or illegal, my recommendation is not to use this compound unless, it's for a variety of medical conditions your doctor is advising this. So I'm not going to get in the way of you and your doctor. Having said that, my opinion is do not use this. So let's get into the video. Here we go. So halotestin, what do you need to know? Let's start out with the pros, but please hang around for the cons because there is a lot of cons that need to be talked about that are either understated or just plain and simple. They are not covered and people are not talking about this. We will go through that in a second. So let's talk about the pros, even though there's not a lot. Halotestin pro, the biggest pro is that on paper anabolic androgenic rating or ratio of 1,900 anabolic. What? That's right, 1,900 anabolic to 850 androgenic. So right away on paper, we see that, on paper, based on the scientific research, this is the highest anabolic, component for building muscle we have ever seen in any anabolic steroids. And androgenic for that matter too. 850 is extremely high. However, in human studies, I want to say this. Now, there's quite a few anabolic steroids, guys, that the rating is spot on. It lines up the real world practical hands-on application, real world studies lines up with the theoretical on paper anabolic androgenic rate. There's a lot of anabolic steroids like that. Think, Winstrol, Anadrol, testosterone, obviously. That's the baseline. And other orals. There's a lot of, EQ. We could go into it, but regardless, and there's some that the anabolic rating is actually lower than the real world results. Think Anavar. Watch my Anavar video. Having said that, guys, with this compound, Halotestin, these numbers are not applicable at all. Halotestin's real world effects are much lower than the on-paper effects. It needs to be said. We're going to get into that more in a second. But anyways, anabolic androgenic rating on paper, 1,900 to 850 androgenic. Moving on. Halotestin is a testosterone derivative anabolic steroid. What does this mean? Halotestin is derived from testosterone. Now, this has pros in terms of what? It has a pro in terms of it's going to be stronger than testosterone, just because it's a testosterone derivative. Testosterone, the hormone testosterone is taken and modified to basically be more anabolic. That's what it comes down to. So test was the base for that. We have testosterone derivatives, DHT derivatives, or 19-NOR, also known as nandrolone derivative anabolic steroids. Moving on into the next step, no estrogen conversion. This is a big one, guys. It needs to be said. Halotestin will not and does not convert into estrogen, hence why this compound has been glorified as a hardening agent. We're going to get into that more in a second also. So moving on into the hardening effect. Now, there's famous bodybuilders and athletes, but that I know, mostly bodybuilders. There's famous bodybuilders that have used that glorify Halotestin. And again, I cannot say this enough. I am against this. There are bodybuilders that glorify Halotestin, this drug, and they talk about using it, getting ready for big shows, and or the Olympia. Again, I don't want to say names, but if you're a bodybuilder, you know who this is. But there's bodybuilders that are glorifying Halotestin. Why? For its hardening effect during contest prep. They claim it gives you grainy, hard gains, much like Winstrol does. I want to stop short right here and say Halotestin, based on everything about Halotestin, yes, it gives a hardening effect. However, it's not going to give you that shrink-wrapped, hard look like Winstrol. Nothing does it like Winstrol. I'm not telling you to use Winstrol because Winstrol has a lot of major problems anyways, and I advise people against Winstrol. Watch my Winstrol video and also watch my Anavar video. But we gotta always talk about all of the negatives. Just can't leave them out. This has to be unbiased, both one way or the other, because Halotestin and a lot of these compounds, you can either get in the United States with a prescription through different clinics, or in many countries you can walk in and you can buy a lot of these anabolic steroids. So we want to talk about them, in a non-biased way, on both sides, both pros and cons. Give you guys all the information. Make the best decisions. Okay. And I would argue there's a lot of doctors that will give out Halotestin for. Halotestin can be prescribed, at least in the U.S., for a variety of different things. But there's a lot of doctors, I would argue, that prescribe Halotestin, and they shouldn't be. That's my opinion. I'm not trying to do what your doctor says, follow your physician's instructions. But again, I would completely do all your research on Halotestin. It is a nasty hormone in my opinion. Okay, moving on. We'll get into that in a second, though. Stick around for the cons. Hardening effect. We talked about that. Why is Halotestin so potent? 9 to 10 hour half-life. So it's a longer half-life, just like a lot of the DHT derivative anabolic steroids, such as Winstrol, Anavar, Anadrol. All right, it's got a longer half-life, which is kind of strange considering, again, it's a testosterone derivative steroid. Let's bring home the meat and potatoes here. What's the biggest pro with Halotestin? We already talked about how it does not live up to what? Its anabolic androgenic rating. However, Halotestin, I'll underline this. This is the only reason people let's just answer this. Strength gain. This is really the only pro. The only big pro with Halotestin is the strength gains. I know powerlifters that, love Halotestin for the ridiculous strength gains you get on it. However, again, it's not a reason to use Halotestin, whether legally or illegally. It's just there's too many cons with this compound. And we're going to get into that now. But first, I want to address why. You can watch videos on Halotestin and people will not address this point. So what am I going to do? I'm going to address it because no one else is. Why is Halotestin on paper both so much stronger anabolic and androgenic? When talking about the ratio, why is the ratio so inflated versus the real world results? Let's answer this question. Why? It's because in humans, pay attention, in humans, Halotestin, being a testosterone derivative, can be greatly affected by the 5-aromatase enzyme. In the human body, testosterone, pituitary to the testicles secrete testosterone. We know about the hypothalamic axis, right? Pituitary releases LH, FSH, testicles produce sperm and pump out testosterone. Testosterone goes systemic and affects, the entire body. From there, testosterone is converted into either, you guys already know what I'm going to say, DHT via the 5-alpha reductase or into estrogen via the aromatase enzyme. However, in the case of Halotestin, this compound cannot be converted to estrogen, but in humans, Halotestin has a strong affinity for what? The 5-alpha reductase enzyme, which means that Halotestin is, there's no estrogen conversion via the aromatase enzyme, but there is a large conversion via the 5-aromatase enzyme. What does this mean? Halotestin is continuously being grabbed and it's going to be converted into stronger androgenic metabolites. There we go. I got it up finally. A lot of stuff to talk about, guys. So what's this going to be happening? It means that this ratio, this fake ratio, I'm going to call it, in humans, this androgenic component is going to be even higher, and this anabolic component is going to be brought down. Why? Why? Because in humans, again, Halotestin has a strong affinity for binding to the 5-alpha enzyme, okay, and convert it into stronger metabolites. So this is why that ratio goes boom, it's skewed, okay? All right, answered why. We got into that. Let's talk about, and guys, so in the human body, that 850 androgenic rating is going to likely be much higher. All right, so this is going to be problematic. Let's talk about the cons now. All right, so cons. Biggest con, and this is across the board with any anabolic steroid use, testosterone use, any anabolic steroid use that is misuse or abuse. What's going to be the biggest con? Irreversible. Plaque buildup in the arteries and cardiovascular disease. Watch my video, why you should not use anabolic steroids. I talk about this at length, even though people don't want to hear it. Proven. And I just posted a study video. Watch my response to why people, or my response video to why you should not use anabolic steroids. I post all the good medical studies on this. It's scientific fact. If you misuse or abuse anabolic steroids, you're going to have plaque buildup in your arteries and you're going to have what? A thickened heart wall, which causes pumping issues. Go watch my video on that, guys. And that's why HRT, TRT all day, every day. But again, do not abuse or misuse, anabolic steroids with or without a prescription. Stick to HRT, TRT. That is honestly the way to go long term. All right, moving on. Cons. Extreme liver toxicity. Right behind plaque buildup in the arteries and cardiovascular disease, and also heart wall thickening, we have extreme liver toxicity. And this is, the plaque buildup in the arteries and the cardiovascular disease and the heart wall thickening. This is more of an overtime effect. The extreme liver toxicity seen with Halotestin in a lot of studies, this is immediate, okay? This is an immediate effect. Halotestin is a C17 alkylated oral anabolic steroid, just like Dianabol, Winstrol, and such, but This chemical compound, your body just hates it. You know, just like Dianabol and Winstrol, except even worse. It is extremely liver toxic. Your body just hates it. So that's got to be stated, and that's the main reason, guys, that I am so much against this compound. It's, you know, it's like poisoning your liver. Just, you know, there might be pros. We talked about the extreme strength gains and, you know, some hardening effect, but again, it's less than Winstrol. But for the strength gains, let's just talk all things considered equal. For the strength gains, is it worth taking this to get, you know, some really good, powerful strength gains if you're, you know, poisoning your liver? No, it's not. You know, you're better off. I am not advising this, first off, but you'd be better off taking high dose testosterone, you know, for the strength gains. So let's keep moving. Again, I didn't even want to do a video on halotestin, but you guys wanted me to talk about it, so we're talking about it. High blood pressure effects. Because the androgenic rating is so high, and guys, it's probably going to be much higher than 850. I already described that mechanism, you know, in the human body. Halotestin has a strong affinity, has a very high affinity for the 5-alpha enzyme, which means that the androgenic component is likely higher than 850, unfortunately. So what do you have? You have extremely high blood pressure effects. You're going to drive your blood pressure through the roof, which is going to cause problems in your arteries. But what's the biggest problem? This is going to affect your kidneys. The high blood pressure effects is going to be bad for your kidneys. You can cause kidney issues with halotestin. A lot of people don't know this either. And also, because it's a super strong artificial androgen, what else is going to happen? Hair loss. Hair loss is going to, you know, all these side effects we talked about before hair loss, these are terrible. Okay, absolutely terrible. You know, I wouldn't even bother listing hair loss on here, but guess what? The hair loss is so bad on halotestin, it needs to be said. So I thought, you know, I'm going to talk about it anyways. If you want to be bald, do halotestin, okay? I'm being sarcastic. Don't do halotestin. Lastly, insomnia. Again, you know, nothing like the other effects we talked about, but halotestin causes insomnia bad. So, guys, that's pretty much it. We talked about the pros, unbiased, uncensored. We talked about the cons, unbiased, uncensored. You know, my opinion, should you ever use halotestin, you know, legally or illegally? No. The answer is no. There's no circumstance in which you should use halotestin, you know, unless your doctor is telling you to do this for some other medical reason. Halotestin has a variety of kind of niche treatments, you know, it can be prescribed for and is effective for. But the bottom line, guys, halotestin should not be used. All right, so guys, stay safe, stay healthy, keep submitting your questions. Again, I did a video on this, not because I wanted to, but because you guys wanted me to. But keep submitting your questions, stay safe, stay healthy. Don't use halotestin, that's my 2 cents, and we are out of here.